Time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Sportsnet LA presents the Dodgers as they take on the Cincinnati Reds. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Wednesday evening to you, wherever you may be. We're at Dodger Stadium, final game of the three-game series with the Reds, and the pitching matchups. It'll be Clayton Kershaw on the mound for the Dodgers. In his career, he has held Cincinnati to a .205 batting average. He is 3-1 for the season, 1-1 last year against the Reds, and 2-1 lifetime. On the mound for Cincinnati, right-hander Homer Bailey. You remember Homer. He's the one pitcher with two no-hitters in his career. Jim Maloney of Cincinnati also had two. And he'll be on the mound with a record of 5-3 lifetime against the Dodgers, 2-2 here at Dodger Stadium, and he is 4-3 against the league. One other thing, with Carl Crawford going on the DL, the Dodgers brought up Jamie Romack, infielder, outfielder. He has been in the minor leagues for 13 years and has never played in the big league. We'll be back with the ball game and a whole lot more right after this.
Opportunity to see the game-worn uniform worn by Josh Beckett, who of course threw the no-hitter on Sunday against the Philadelphia Phillies. It will be around Dodger Stadium for the next few days. Welcome inside Dodger Stadium, everybody. I'm Alana Rizzo. Of course, the unfortunate injury to outfielder Carl Crawford in last night's game against the Reds, where he really injured his left ankle. He caught it on the warning track and the outfield grass. He is officially on the disabled list, the 15-day DL. Crawford saying it's the worst he's felt immediately after an injury. Said the swelling was immediate after he got hurt, unfortunately, on the 15-day DL. So that subtraction brings an addition in the form of Jamie Romack. The 28-year-old infielder, outfielder, plays the corner outfield positions from London, Ontario, Canada. Fourth-round selection by the Braves in 2003. A .249 average, 162 long balls, almost 600 ribbies in the minors in his 12th season in the minor leagues. He is up here and available to play for the Los Angeles Dodgers. As far as this game is concerned, well, that is Andre Ethier. Of course, 4 ribbies in last night's game. He will be back in center field tonight. After the break, the legendary Vin Scully on the call. Stay with us.
Welcome to Game 3 in the final game of the series with the Reds, and it'll be a battle between Homer Bailey and Clayton Kershaw. There is a story, a box offside of the regular story of the game. It's the arrival of a young man, yes, relatively young, coming into the Dodger dugout. It has nothing to do with Clayton Kershaw or the names you are so familiar with. When Carl Crawford went on the DL last night, there was an opening on the roster, and the Dodgers had to bring a player up. And the player they brought up, his name is Romack, Jamie Romack. And here's the thing about Jamie. He's from Canada, from the province of Ontario. And the most important thing to remember, he has been what they call a lifer. He's been in the minor leagues for almost 13 years and has never gotten into a big league game. So he was a long shot, and he arrived today. And as this game and many others progress, it will be interesting to learn what's going on inside his head, what's going on inside his heart, and what will go on when he takes the field one of these days. So welcome to the big leagues. If we had a roll of drums and a blare of bugles, it would be for Jamie Romack. Meanwhile, for Brian Price, it has been taps so far. The team has lost 4 in a row, and they've scored only 9 runs in those 4 losing games. So we'll take a look at his lineup card and some familiar names there. And here they are. Billy Hamilton leading off in center field. Todd Frazier at third. Brandon Phillips at second base. And Devin Mesoraco behind the plate. Jay Bruce in right field. Brian Ludwig in left. Brayan Pena will be at first base. Zach Cozart at short. And Charles Bailey Jr., better known as Homer, on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw. He has a record of 3-1 this year, 1-1 last year, and 2-1 lifetime against Cincinnati. For 5 years, Kershaw has held the Cincinnati batting order to a .205 batting average. And trying to get something going, a ball club that is without Joey Votto, who figured to be their big gun. Votto had 6 home runs, 12 RBIs. Instead, they have to rely on an outfield that has not produced. In fact, one comparison would be the difference between the Cincinnati outfield. Combined, all Cincinnati outfielders have hit 8 home runs. Hamilton has 1. The Dodger outfield combined more than 3 times as many, 26. So here's Billy Hamilton ready to go. And, of course, last night the Dodgers were led by Andre Ethier's home run and triple. And day in and day out, they've been led by Yasiel Puig. Hamilton, he's tall and skinny and runs like the wind. He has 1 home run, hitting .245. Corners come up in the first pitch high, and a 1-ball, no strike count. Hamilton from Mississippi. He is 6'1" and maybe 160 pounds. Kershaw back with a pitch fouled off to the left. 1 ball and 1 strike. 71 degrees, a lovely summer's evening with a very light breeze blowing from left to right. And Kershaw in quest of his 4th win. Dodgers in quest of their 4th victory. And the 1-1 pitch on the way. Check swing on a pitch that's up. No swing, says Jerry Davis, the crew chief. And a 2-ball, 1 strike count. Hamilton in 2012, well, let's put it this way. 2011, he startled the baseball world. He had 103 stolen bases. Chopper to third, honored his Turner, throws him out. Well, nice play by Justin Turner at a big game in Game 1. Now the batter will be Todd Frazier, normally a third baseman, and in the absence of Joey Votto, he had to play first in 1 game. Made a misplay there that cost the Reds a very important run. So he's back to more familiar territory. Frazier playing third base and takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Frazier has 9 home runs, 27 runs batted in. He's the power man in the lineup now. And he promptly strokes one into left field and down the line. In pursuit of it is Matt Kemp, waiting for it to come off the wall. And into second base goes Frazier with a double.
Now batting second
So
base,
Matt Kemp
4,
replacing the
Phillips.
fallen Carl Crawford in left field. It was a similar ball that was low, just below the knees, and Frazier promptly hooked it down the line. And then last night, Crawford came over and turned, and now he's wearing a walking boot, sitting in the dug side alongside Shane Figgins. So a 1-out double by Frazier, and here is Brandon Phillips. I love the story that Frazier tells, and he said he did it the other night. He took some advice from his dad. What do you do when things are going badly? And, of course, things have been going badly for the Reds. And he said, I went down through the dugout, back up the steps. There's a bathroom, and there's a mirror in the bathroom. And he said, I walked over and stared at the mirror, saying, well, what are you going to do about it? And then he went back into the dugout, and his father always told him to do that. And sure enough, he came up and got that double to left field. So he comes up. Maybe he's checked the mirror again before the game started. And Frazier, a look-in double. So 1 out, a runner at second base. And Brandon Phillips, Gold Glover, solid all-around performer. Right-hand batter bends at the knees and waist. And the strike one pitch is swung on, fouled right into the mitt. 0-2 the count. Brandon Phillips out of Raleigh, North Carolina, makes his home in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Clayton Kershaw now with a runner at second, 1 out. First inning, we're just starting. Kershaw, that full stretch as Romack looks on. Strike 2 pitch low in the dirt. Nice save behind the plate by Drew Butera. Butera, of course, has to carry the big load right now. It'll be relieved occasionally by Tim Fedorovich. But with A.J. Ellis out, it'll be a good 2 weeks at least before A.J. is back. 1-2 the count to Phillips with Mesoraco on deck. Kershaw, another big stretch and a look back at second. 1-2 pitch on the way is whacked into left center field and deep, and all Kemp can do is watch it go into the seats. And just like that, Brandon Phillips puts the Reds on the board 2-0. Double by Frazier and the home run now by Phillips. So for Kershaw, not that he's gone through games without giving up some runs, but it certainly has to bring back the horrors of the game he pitched. That was in Arizona when the D-backs scored 18. So Brandon Phillips hits it out. Phillips, by the way, has had some success. He was hitting .364 in his career, and he's now going through a dance in the dugout, fives and all kinds of shakes, and the pitch in for a strike to Devin Mesoraco. So Brandon Phillips, an all-star, a gold glover. He has hit as many as 30 home runs in his career. Change up, and Mesoraco way out in front of it. So Brandon Phillips leading 2-0 on that home run. For Kershaw to be victimized by a home run, that's not exactly news, but it's only the second home run that he has given up. The strike 2 pitch on the way, low and inside, ball 1. 1-2 the count to Devin Mesoraco. Mesoraco homered Tuesday, and he now has 6 home runs, 20 RBIs in 23 games, and he has Jay Bruce on deck. He swings, doesn't get it, and down goes Mesoraco. Oh, we have 2 down, 2 in. The batter will be Jay Bruce. We can set the Dodgers defensively. Kemp, Ethier, and Puig in the outfield. And the infield of Turner, Ramirez, Gordon, and Gonzalez. Behind the plate, Drew Butera and Clayton Kershaw on the mound. So for Matt Kemp, starting tonight in left field, he's had 2 plays, one he chased and one he had to watch. And it's 2-0 Cincinnati. Kershaw's fastball in for a strike, and the count 0-1 to Jay Bruce. Jay Bruce, a fine young player. He's been banged up and on the DL, so they need him to come back and do it in a hurry. He takes high. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Kershaw in the first inning. Troubled on a double by Frazier and the home run by Phillips. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way. Slap foul off to the left, out of play. 1-2 the count to Jay Bruce. Jay Bruce, by the way, has also done well against Kershaw. He's hitting .357, and he has 2 home runs against Clayton. The 1-2 pitch on the way, and it's low in the dirt, boxed there by Butera. 2-2 the count. So the home run did not come from an outfielder, it came from a second baseman. So the Reds outfield still has 8. 2-2 the count. Kershaw ready, delivers, fouled away. Interesting to match up pitchers and what they do under certain counts. Kershaw, and let's say with a 1-2 count, opponents had hit 183 against him. In his career, only 11 home runs allowed. Phillips hit a 1-2 pitch. Check swing on a curveball, comebacker, and Kershaw handles it. So he who hesitates hits back to the box. However, there was no hesitation on the part of Frazier and no hesitation on the part of Phillips. 2-0, Cincinnati. 2-0 in the first inning. So his club has to get some runs, and soon rather than later. We'll take a look at his lineup. D. Gordon leading off, followed by Andre Ethier's big night last night, home run and a bases-loaded triple. Then you have Puig, Ramirez, Gonzalez, Kemp, Turner, Butera, and Clayton Kershaw. On the mound for the Reds, Homer Bailey. Homer Bailey, among other things, from LaGrange, Texas. That's not too far away from where Clayton Kershaw grew up. Although they had heard about each other, they had never competed against each other. And for Bailey, well, when the world is known as he is a no-hitter. In fact, Homer Bailey has 2. Meanwhile, D. Gordon takes a pitch that's in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Gordon, as he checks in, struggling a bit, reflected in an average that had been high over 300 and is now hitting 283. Gordon, Ethier, and Puig in that order. The corners are up, and the pitch is fouled back, and the count 0-2. For D. Gordon and Billy Hamilton, when the series started, you expected to see a lot of stolen bases. Well, Hamilton, he has stolen 18 out of 24. And for D. Gordon, he's done a lot better than that, 30 out of 33. And he hits one just inside third, down the line. Gordon on his way for 2. He will make it easily as Ludwig gets the ball back in. So that didn't take long. As D. Gordon, a line drive, double to left. And now Ethier, Puig, and Ramirez. Pitch stayed up, and he just stayed inside the ball, as the hitters talk about. And he hit it inside third, no chance for Frazier, and down the line. So Gordon takes his lead at second base. That would be his 9th double. Andre Ethier last night had the home run and then the bases loaded triple. So we'll see what he does now with Gordon at second base and nobody out. Bailey deals, fastball high, ball 1. Andre Ethier, 3 home runs, 25 runs batted in, but a 4 RBI night certainly dressed up the series. 2-0 favor the Reds. Gordon at second base and nobody out. Bailey, a fake throw at, not a fake to Gordon. He couldn't take any chance. He went back on his hands and knees. David Bailey Jr., that was the same name his father wore. That's why he's a junior. And they decided the names were so close, they'd better come up with a separator. And they went to the great-grandfather who had the nickname Homer. The 1-0 pitch pulled to the hole, cracked back. Phillips able to catch up to it. And on the play, Gordon goes to third. The ball was not hit hard enough. You could hear the bat. It didn't break, but it cracked. And Phillips was able to catch up to it and make a big play. Ball looked like it was heading for the hole, and Phillips, a great stop, and on his knees makes the play. So 1 away. So Phillips, a Gold Glove and a home run hitter, and we've seen already both sides of him. And here is Yasiel Puig. Yasiel Puig has developed in many ways, and certainly one of them would be the walks. Last year, he had 36 walks in 382 at-bats. This year, he has 26 walks already in less than half of the at-bats the year before. Yasiel waiting and takes the first pitch, ball 1. That's another point. Last year, he swung at the first pitch, full of nervous energy, I guess, 43% of the time. He's cut that down to 35. And then, of course, does he make contact? And anytime he makes contact, he is a serious threat. The 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed, 1-1. Percentage of his swings and misses, he's cut that down from 37% to 28. So what it really means, he's become a far more selective hitter and a more patient hitter. On deck, Hanley Ramirez, followed by the man who has really given Bailey a bad time, Adrian Gonzalez. Bailey ready, the 1-1 pitch, foul back, and Puig acting like that's the pitch he should have hit. 1-2 the count. So D. Gordon opened up with a double inside third. Homer Bailey had 2 no-hitters September of 2012 against Pittsburgh. Tough game, 1-0. And then last July, he had a no-hitter against the Giants in Cincinnati. And of course, when you talk about no-hitters and Cincinnati, there's one name only. The 1-2 pitch to Puig is fouled away. The name is Johnny Vandermeer. And Johnny Vandermeer, on June the 11th, 1938, pitched a no-hitter against the Boston Braves. On June the 15th of 1938, Vandermeer was going to pitch against the Brooklyn Dodgers. And of course, wouldn't you know it, at Ebbets Field, it was the first night game to ever have been played in Brooklyn. Well, he got through 8 innings pretty well, and then the 9th inning came, and he was going to do, as we know, something that has never been done and might never be done again. Consecutive no-hitters. Pitch to Puig, fouled away. He got into the 9th inning, and the leadoff man for the Giants was a pretty good left-hand hitter named Buddy Haslett. And Vandermeer's first 3 pitches went to the backstop. I mean, you think he didn't feel a little pressure. Well, he got Buddy Haslett, and he then walked the next 3 batters. Well, now here he is trying to pitch his 2nd consecutive no-hitters, and with 1 out, he has the bases loaded. He got a force play, bases still loaded, 2 out, and the batter was Leo DeRocher, the Lion, as they called him, a weak-hitting infielder who put the label on him as the All-American out. And there was DeRocher standing between Vandermeer and really a historic moment. Consecutive no-hitters. The 1-2 pitch, Puig swings and misses, and down he goes. Well, DeRocher didn't swing and miss, but with 2 strikes, Vandermeer made a pitch, and he was sure it was strike 3. And Bill Stewart, the plate umpire, said, no, ball 2. Well, anyway, with the crowd going bananas, Vandermeer got DeRocher, and he had his 2nd consecutive no-hitter over only 4 days, from the 11th to the 15th. But when the no-hitter ended, and this is kind of interesting, the plate umpire, Bill Stewart, went to the mound and said, John, meaning Vandermeer, I'm sorry I missed that pitch. And Vandermeer said, nodded and walked off the field. And then he said, I wonder if DeRocher had gotten a hit, would Stewart have come out and said to me, I'm sorry I missed that pitch. A lot goes on in a no-hitter, but can you imagine 2 consecutive no-hitters? Meanwhile, Hanley Ramirez skies 1 foul. That'll go down the right field line. And the count 0-1. 2-0 in favor of Cincinnati. The Dodgers had Gordon lead off with a double. Ethia's ground ball was not hit hard enough to reach the outfield, and Brandon Phillips was able to make a sprawling stop and throw him out. And then Puig strikes out, so the Dodgers don't need that fly ball. They need more than that. And Ramirez fouls it back. So he's in the hole, no balls and 2 strikes. Hanley Ramirez going up against Homer Bailey, hitting .278. He has 5 hits, and 2 of the 5 hits home runs. Hanley back up, down the line comes D. Gordon. Bailey set, looks over at Gordon, now comes back to the plate, swung on and missed, and the Dodgers thoroughly frustrated as they lose an optimum run. And at the end of an inning, it's still 2-0 Cincinnati. Lead, a double by Frazier, the home run by Phillips. For the Dodgers starting pitching at 2 runs in the first inning, somewhat of a shock. Their winning percentage, the starters that is, ranking first, 4th in ERA, 4th in strikeouts, but the last 3 games, an earned run average of 2.2 and 24 strikeouts and only 3 walks. But put that all together, how'd you come out? Well, it's 2-0 Cincinnati, second inning. Ryan Ludwig, veteran right-hand batter, fouls it away. Ludwig originally signed by the A's back in 1999. He graduated from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and he still makes his home over there. Strike one pitch on the way, off speed for a strike. The changeup, no balls and 2 strikes to Ryan Ludwig. Ludwig's one of those fellows who was bawled out by his teacher in his 4th grade because he said when he grew up he was going to be a major league ball player. The next one is a little low, and Ludwig says, "I will never forget my teacher saying you need to get a real dream." Well, here he is. 1-2 the count to Ryan. Next pitch is a fastball at the knees. He goes down trying to find it. Second strikeout for Clayton Kershaw. 1 out in the second inning. And the first baseman Pena will be coming up.
Batting next, first baseman number 29, Brayan Pena.
Brayan Pena trying to find a role, a big missing front tooth as far as the Reds are concerned. And that would be the absence of Joey Votto, who is in Cincinnati. Joey with a bad knee, but might be able to come off the DL in a week. Pena fouls the pitch away. 0-1 the count. Brayan spells that first name B-R-Way, B-R-A-Y-A-N. He's from Havana, Cuba. Now the strike one pitch on the way, and that's hit late and down the line, fair ball. Pena around first. He's going to go for 2. Puig picks it out of the runway and gets it late. The ball got down into the fence, and then all of a sudden you couldn't see where it went. And he got it up and fired accurately, but no chance. So Pena, a flare double just inside the right field line. So Kershaw has given up 3 hits, 2 doubles and a home run. So the little flare down the line, Gonzalez couldn't get under it, and Puig had some trouble down there, not quite sure what. And Pena beats the throw. Pena's 5'9", 225. You don't figure he's going to get very many leg hits. Though somehow or other, he turned that into a double. The batter now is Kozar. Throw back to the bag is Pena with 1 out and the number 8 hitter. And the pitcher to follow. You don't expect Pena to take too big a lead, and consequently he doesn't figure to be an easy man to score. Of course, the old story, tell that to Kozar. Kozar waiting, Koufax, and the pitch by Kershaw, little low, ball 1-0. 2-0 Reds. A double by Frazier, home run by Phillips. Dodgers had a leadoff double by Gordon. They got him to third and left him there as Puig and Ramirez struck out. Clayton ready in the 1-0 pitch, and that gets right out of the mitt of Butera. And that figures to be a pass ball unless they're confused on the pitch. And only the battery knows. Butera has been charged with about a half a dozen pass balls. And that thing just flew out of his mitt. But because he's going to the mound, you have a feeling that he might have been crossed up. He will nevertheless be charged with what I think is his 7th pass ball. We'll have to check. They don't usually list that. And to be honest, they don't usually talk about it. So Pena, a tough man to score from second, now a pretty easy man to score from third. And the pitch to Kozar is fouled back. 2-1 the count. 2 runs, 3 hits for Cincinnati, 2 doubles and a home run. Zach Kozark waiting, right-hand batter. Kershaw delivers, and it's low, and the count ball 3-1. You hear a lot about those players who undergo the Tommy John surgery, and usually you think it's going to be a pitcher. Zach Cozart had the Tommy John surgery, but on his throwing arm. And here he is at shortstop and doing very well. 3-1 pitch is swung on and missed, off speed, 3-2. Yeah, they went back into the books. Somehow or other, I came up with that one. 21 games, and Butera has 7 pass balls. That, believe me, that's really high. Cozart up there, 3-2 the count. Infield up, 1 out, second inning, 2-0 Reds. Kershaw back 3-2, and that's swung on and missed, the tag at the plate, and down goes Cozart. So for Kershaw, he comes up with his 3rd strikeout, and a pitch in the dirt. Bad pitch, bad swing, and for the Reds, a bad out. And the batter now is Bailey. Homer Bailey has 4 hits, a run batted in, 4 singles. Still trying to get Brayan Pena home. Kershaw with his back to the runner comes to the plate, and it's foul back. Pitchers get so accustomed, if they're left-handed, to looking at the base runner, certainly at first and second. And then you get the runner down the line from third, and you almost feel a little unprotected. You take a look, and then you're ready, and you're relying on somebody to holler squeeze if there were only 1 out. The next pitch is taken for a strike, and the count 0-2. And of course, right-handers have the problem with the runner at first. 0-2 the count to Homer Bailey. Right-hand batter, Kershaw set. Pena short lead at third. Slow breaking ball, strike 3 call. Clayton strikes out the side, gives up a double, and has a pass ball, and he's out of the inning. At the end of an inning and a half, 2-0 Cincinnati. Things all here. Cincinnati leading the Dodgers 2-0. Youngsters all wearing Dodger t-shirts, showing a lot of pep and vim and vigor, although that's redundant when you're looking at kids that age. Meanwhile, we're looking at Homer Bailey. You know, there's an interesting thing about Bailey. You always relate, if you're thinking about it closely, the pitcher and his catcher. And there's a definite difference in Bailey, whose earned run average coming in is over 5. Why? Well, from 2010 through last year, Bailey's catcher was named Ryan Hannigan. And Ryan Hannigan is no longer with Cincinnati. He was traded to Tampa Bay. And you say, well, why would you think that Hannigan made that much of an important contribution to Homer Bailey? Adrian Gonzalez, a one-hopper, short hop, knocked down, and Brandon Phillips throws him out. We didn't have time to tell you that Gonzalez had 5 home runs and was hitting .476 against Bailey. Well, Matt Kemp coming up. In 2010, Ryan Hannigan was catching Homer Bailey, whose earned run average was 3.2. The other Red catchers handling Bailey, his ERA was almost 8.5. Meanwhile, Matt Kemp checks in, batting .262. Matt taking over a new position and is forced into playing a little earlier, I think, than planned. He takes a strike, and the count 0-1. In 2011, Hannigan's ERA was 3.2. Without him, Bailey's ERA was 6.8. And then in 2012, Hannigan's ERA again, 3.2. This is a difference with the other catchers. Bailey was 3.8. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way, fouled away. Last year, with Hannigan catching Bailey, Bailey's earned run average was 2.7. With the other catchers, he's over 5. So maybe it was lost in the news. Oh, you see where the Reds traded Ryan Hannigan at Tampa Bay? No, well, no big deal. Really? Ask Bailey about it. And the 1-2 pitch on the way, foul back. They do have a fine young catcher in Devin Mesoraco, so they'll start the relationship all over again. Yeah, they go together like Josh Beckett and Drew Butera. We'll be talking about it Friday. It was one of the great notes after Beckett's no-hitter. Dylan Hernandez had it in the LA Times, and everybody jumped all over it. Pitch swung on and missed. It's in the dirt. Goes to the backstop, and Kemp is aboard after striking out. So Kemp reaches on what is the third strikeout for Homer Bailey in the dirt. Wasn't quite sure where Mesoraco's glove was. If we could take one last look at, and I'm sure the official score would like to see it, just look at the glove, never mind the ball. We see the glove, we see the glove. Now he's going to turn it, but he didn't really block it. He tried to turn it with the webbing. It'll be a wild pitch. So the Dodgers get a break. And with Kemp at first, Justin Turner up there with a 2-0 Cincinnati score on the board. Fastball in for a strike, 0-1 the count. That note we were talking about earlier, Josh Beckett will try, not really, but he's going to go out there in a position to try for a second consecutive no-hitter. He'll get Francisco Liriano, and there's a comebacker. Bailey goes to second for one. Phillips has no further play. So they get Kemp off 1-4. Phillips handling the throw, and that'll bring up Butera.
For the Dodgers, catcher number 31, Drew Butera.
The catcher for Josh Beckett, as you know, is Drew Butera. And interesting that when Beckett goes to the mound against Pittsburgh, I would assume Drew Butera would be in there to catch him yet again. And Butera caught Francisco Liriano's no-hitter in 2011. So it's great, of course, to put all the praise on the pitcher, but whatever you do, don't overlook the catcher. And the pitch down and away, ball one. 1-0 the count. I don't know if I read anything about what a great game Butera called when Beckett pitched the no-hitter. I'm just not sure if he was just completely overlooked with all the excitement. Next one is low. 2-0 the count to Drew Butera out of Evansville, Indiana. Butera, he'll be 31 years old in August. Originally signed by the Mets out of 2005. 2-0 pitch on the way, swung on and missed. Which brings back the memory now, talking about Mets and talking about catching. Casey Stengel, in his inimitable way, the first year with the Mets, he was talking about how important his catcher is, and the writers all leaned forward. I mean, this was a terrible team. And they said, why is he so important? And Stengel said, because it takes too much time running back to the backstop to get the ball. Well, they're much more important than that. Whether it's Devin Mesoraco or the young man Drew Butera at the plate right now. Instead of 2 out and 3 out on the comebacker, instead a drive that's very playable to center fielder Billy Hamilton, and battling that for Butera. So the strikeout, the wild pitch, nothing happens, and at the end of 2-0 Reds. Beckett's no-hitter this past Sunday the 11th in LA Dodger history. Join the Dodgers. They'll celebrate this achievement with an $11 ticket offer for this Friday's game when Josh takes the mound against Pittsburgh. And don't forget, after the game, enjoy Friday night fireworks presented by Denny's. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/no-hitter. Josh Beckett, number 61. Glad to see Chan-Ho Park out here at the ballpark. He wore number 61. Meanwhile, the first pitch to Billy Hamilton fouled away. Billy Hamilton, can you imagine picking up the papers and reading that somebody has stolen 100 bases? Well, he did even better than that. Little foul. In 2011, oh sure, low minors, but he still stole 103 bases. And in 12, the two teams, Pensacola and Bakersfield, he stole 155 bases. 0-2 to Billy. And of course the other rabbit, D. Gordon. And an off-speed breaking ball drops in for strike 3. Well, all of a sudden Kershaw has struck out 5 with 1 out in the third, but he's losing 2-0. Big, slow rainbow curve. And at the end of the rainbow, strike 3. So Gordon looking for a fastball. Got the one pitch he could not think he would get in that count. And now here's Todd Frazier. Frazier, right-hand hitter, doubled into the left field corner and then rode home on the home run by Brandon Phillips. Now the strike 1 pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. I'll always remember Todd Frazier. He made a promise to a youngster named Teddy Kramer, a 30-year-old man with Down syndrome, who was the Reds bat boy during a game with the Miami Marlins. And down he goes, 6 strikeouts. And it was Frazier who said, when the youngster said to him, well, he's 30 years old, but Down syndrome, he was probably around 10.
Coming to the plate, second baseman.
And all of a sudden, Frazier said, I'm going to hit a home run for you, Ted. And sure enough, he did. And the picture of Frazier scoring and young Teddy Kramer behind him with his hands in the air, just beside himself in joy, was a picture that you never forget. Well, Clayton Kershaw is not going to forget Brandon Phillips, who took him deep in the first inning. And Brandon, off-speed swing to a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Kershaw in 2 2/3 innings, 8 outs, and 6 of them strikeouts. Oh, and 1 to count. Played ready and comes back over the top, shoots another fastball in there. A little less than the other one, but it's still 89 miles an hour. That's not a bad fastball for most pitchers. What Kershaw would say is, well, I just took a little off. No balls and 2 strikes. Phillips taking a little time, so Kershaw decides he's going to take a little time. I think he felt that Brandon was playing a little gamesmanship. Now he's ready. Strike 2 pitch on the way. Phillips pulls it foul. 0-2. Brandon Phillips. Boy, he's done a lot of wonderful things with the bat and the glove. He almost set up a war between Cincinnati and St. Louis. Remember when he walked up to the plate and tapped Yadier Molina on the shin guard, and one thing led to another? That's in the dirt, kicks away. 1-2 to count. I know at one stage, coming into Dodger Stadium, his career batting average here was .390. And of course, first time up tonight, home run. Phillips, multi-talented. He can do it all. I mean, he has power. He's hit as many as 30. He runs well. He has stolen as many as 32. Gold Glover, 2. Now the 1-2 pitch on the way. Brandon swings, chopper up the middle. Gordon is on it near the bag and throws him out. So Clayton has settled down after the double and the home run in the first inning, but the Dodgers have to settle up, and it's 2-0 Reds. It'll be Kershaw, Gordon, and Ethier. By the way, I had a couple of thoughts when I was homesick. I remember the game in Philadelphia where A.J. Ellis dropped the foul ball, and then Chase Utley hit the home run, and the Dodgers lost. And then I remember thinking about catchers. And then, of course, on the big celebration with Josh Beckett, A.J. Ellis runs out and steps on the mask of Drew Butera, sprains an ankle, and he's out for 2 weeks. And I don't imagine I'll see A.J. for a while. Maybe he'll go to Albuquerque and rehab, just not sure. Here's Kershaw, and he takes a strike. Things could get worse, A.J., believe it or not. And I was trying to think, what could be the worst moment for a catcher, and combine a couple of things that happened with A.J., and there is a dandy. Strike one pitch to Clayton is swung on and missed. It was in the World Series, so that gets your attention right away. Oh, yeah, it was a while ago, 1924, New York Giants and the Washington Senators. So the World Series gets your attention. How about the 7th game of the World Series? Pitch to Kershaw's high. And how about the 12th inning of the 7th game of the World Series? And you're the catcher. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and missed, and down goes Kershaw. The catcher's name was Hank Gowdy. And anyone who does reading, serious reading about baseball, sooner or later when they're talking about the catcher's mask, they will bring up the name Hank Gowdy, who was the catcher for the Washington Nationals. The hitter in the bottom of the 12th inning was a man named Muddy Rule. Funny name, but pretty good player, apparently. And he hit a high foul ball, and Hank Gowdy went over, settled under it, and stepped on his own mask and stumbled and dropped a very easy foul ball in the bottom of the 12th inning in the World Series. Gordon takes a strike. Well, Rule eventually doubled on the next pitch. Utley homered on the next pitch, but Rule doubled. Eventually, he's ready to score, and there's a ground ball to third that looks like it's going to be the end of the inning. 2 out. And it hits a pebble and kangaroos over the third baseman's head, and Rule scores. A strike to Gordon. So in the bottom of the 12th, in the 7th game of the World Series, a catcher stepping on his own mask sets up the winning run. So you see, A.J., wherever you are, bless your heart, things could get worse. 0-2 the count. Gordon shows bunt, takes outside, ball 1. 1-2 the count. So Bailey deservedly pitching 2 fine no-hitters. We were talking about the count earlier with Kershaw, and like every pitcher, you fall into a pattern. Bailey's 1-2 pitch on the way, and that's low. Again, Gordon showing a bunt. And looking at Bailey last year, if he was ahead in the count, no balls, 1 strike, the batters hit .524 against him. 1-1 count, they hit .526. 2-2. Frazier even with the bag at third. 2-2 pitch coming up, and a little ground ball to short. That puts pressure on Cozart, and just got him. And a nice stretch at first by Pena. That was a fine play by Cozart. He had to come and get it. And normally if you come and get it against Gordon, Gordon will come and take it. So that was a good play. Although, let's see, are they thinking? Yeah, they are. Wallach was on the phone as to whether they were going to argue the call. Here's Cozart. He has to throw off balance.
Center fielder number
bang,
16.
bang, play.
Easy.
And a good call by the veteran umpire, Jerry Davis, at first base. I mean, look at what we have to do, the expensive equipment to slow that thing down. And then you realize the umpire has one shot, a millimeter of a second to make the call. The pitch now to Andre Ethier, way inside, ball one. So that was a nice play by Pete Cozart. A tough runner in Gordon. And here's Andre hitting .275 with Gordon at second base in the first inning. Ethier grounded one into the hole on the right side, but the ball wasn't hit that hard. And Phillips was out on the grass, was able to dive at it, smother it, prevent a base hit, and that prevented Gordon from scoring. So not only has Phillips driven in two, he saved one. And we're only in the third inning. Fastball picks up the outside corner. 2-1 to count. Phil Cuzzy is the plate umpire. Phil's been umpiring in the big leagues for 16 years. Hailing from the Jersey Shore. Phil, veteran. And the next pitch is pulled foul out of play. Phil Cuzzy, the plate umpire, works with the ALS Foundation, the disease always called the Lou Gehrig disease, and he started a fund which raises money for patient care and research. Good man, Phil Cuzzy. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 down, bottom of the third. 2-0, Cincinnati. The 2-2 pitch on the way. Ethier comes up empty on a full swing. Down he goes, and the Dodgers go in order. So at the end of 3, it's the Reds 2 and the Dodgers nothing. By Honda. Start something special with a great deal on a Honda. Now at your Honda dealer. And we move on to the 4th inning, 2-0 Cincinnati. The runs coming in the first inning, a 1-out double to left by Todd Frazier, and a home run off the bat of Brandon Phillips. Meanwhile, after giving up the 2, Kershaw has struck out 6 and is still hung down 2-0. Devin Mesoraco, the big catcher, who had been out for a while, swings, fouls it back. And we're underway on TV. Mesoraco has been a hot hitter of late. Big right-hand batter. Kershaw now has made 48 pitches. The strikeouts take quite a bit of you. 6 strikeouts, so you subtract at least 18 pitches. And Mesoraco bangs it into left center for a base hit. Kemp over to cut it off. So Kevin Mesoraco from Dubois, Pennsylvania, and Puxatawney. That's the home of Puxatawney Phil, isn't it? Sure. Whether we're going to have an early winter or not. So Mesoraco, a line drive single after striking out the first time. Jay Bruce hit back to the box. 0 for 1. Tries to time that fastball, and he's late. Couldn't get around on it. 0-1. Jay Bruce might have been a little late on that 90-mile-an-hour fastball, but he is really coming off the DL. He hadn't been on the DL since early May. arthroscopic surgery on his left knee. Little roller. Kershaw makes the play to Adrian. Down to second base goes Mesoraca. And one out. Ryan Ludwig coming up.
Left fielder, number 48, Ryan Ludwig.
Ludwig struck out in the second inning. Ryan came into the game hitting .254. Interestingly enough, Ryan Ludwig grew up as a Cincinnati fan, even though he was born in Florida, lives in Las Vegas, and went to the university over there. And he has played with a lot of teams after being originally signed by the A's. I mean, for a guy who rooted for Cincinnati, it took him a long time to get to the club. Went professional in 1999 and finally got to the Reds 13 years later. He's been up and down with them since he came from Pittsburgh to Cincinnati. Oh, and 1. 1-1. Ryan is, I say one of the rare players. I don't know how rare it is, but the majority of players who throw left-handed, bat left-handed. But he throws left and bats right. And that's a little low. 93-mile-an-hour fastball. 2-1 the count. Waiting on deck, the first baseman, Brayan Pena. Ludwig had a big problem. It made the news 10, 12 years ago in spring training. Red ants in Port Charlotte, Florida. Yeah, I mean, not just a problem. The red ants put him in the hospital. He had a severe allergic reaction. It's a great way to start the year. On the way to spring training and you wind up in the hospital. Two and two the count to Ryan. Slow curveball. See you later. Or as they used to say back in New York when Dwight Gooden was doing things like that, Uncle Charlie. And there is Uncle Charlie. All you can do is tip your cap and move on. 7 strikeouts for Clayton. But he's trailing 2-0. No red ants, maybe red neck as Ludwig goes back. Pena got that little flare double to right. Stocky first baseman who looks like the ideal catcher. I mean, 5'9" and well over 200 pounds. They've been trying to make sure he would watch his weight. He defected from Cuba with his father. He was a teenager, and he was in a junior baseball tournament in Caracas, Venezuela. Foul ball, no play. One ball and 1 strike to count. How did he get here? Well, he said, my daddy spoke to me about the defection. I said, all right, let's do it. They hid in the home of a friend of Pedro's in Venezuela, Pedro being his father. Met with 5 other Cuban baseball players who defected. They established a residency in Costa Rica, and he was the youngest of the bunch. Ground ball to short. Hanley. So the leadoff single by Mesoraca remains a leadoff single. No runs, 1 hit, and at the end of 3.5, 2-0 Cincinnati. Tomorrow, the Dodgers open their series with the Pirates, a 4-game series. That opens tomorrow at 7:10. And the first 40,000 fans in attendance take home a Dodger team-themed T-shirt presented by Security Benefit. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotion. Bottom of the fourth, Homer Bailey holding his own, leading 2-0. And the Dodgers now will send up the heart of the lineup, Puig, Ramirez, and Gonzalez. Yasiel Puig, as you know, the leading hitter in the National League in the month of May. He was hitting .413 for the month. So Yasiel struck out in the first inning, 0 for 1. Puig taking plenty of time to settle in, and here we go. Comebacker. So one away on one pitch, still 2-0 in favor of Cincinnati. Homer Bailey, you can just imagine it. He grew up on a family 70,000 chicken farm, 40 acres chicken and egg farm. And he is really Mr. Outside. I mean, he's far more interested in being out in the country, hunting wild boar or whatever. And he was that way ever since he was a little boy. Hanley Ramirez hitting .249 coming up. And first pitch in for a strike. So Hanley, who followed Puig in an empty-handed walk back to the dugout when he struck out in the first inning. And Yasiel sitting there at that amazed look that all good hitters have. I don't know how he got me out with that junk. They all look the same. 0-1. And a strike. Hanley not thrilled with that, 0-2. Then he has a grin on his face, so I don't think too many things upset Hanley Ramirez. He's been at this game a long time. He can control his temper and aggression, can't control injuries. 0-2. Fastball really took off. So you have two low-key guys here. Hanley Ramirez at the plate. Homer Bailey, kind of unflappable, humble persona. Doesn't show much emotion. 1-2 pitch. Pulled on the ground to third. Right on top of it is Frazier to get him. 2 down. Well, that'll bring up Adrian Gonzalez. Talking about Bailey, and he is so quiet and unimpressed, unflappable. When he made his Major League debut, his manager then was Gary Narron. And they asked Jerry Narron, how excited was Homer Bailey in making his Major League debut? And Narron thought a moment and said, you know, to him, it might be bigger than bobblehead night. Now you know. One ball and no strikes to Adrian Gonzalez. By the way, that 34 worn on the back of the jersey of Homer Bailey, no accident. That was Nolan Ryan's number, the big Texan, who had 7 no-hitters, and he idolized him growing up. 2-0 the count. By the way, another Texans number is always widely held. If you're a pitcher, Roger Clemens, 21. But that had been used at the time. Adrian Gonzalez would be hitting Bailey no matter the number he wears. He's 10 for 21 coming into the game, and he did ground out in the second inning. And a little pop foul. Frazier has a play, can't make it. The toil and the frustration of the visiting player. Like the music man always talked, you gotta know the territory. And he was groping for the wall, and he really had a little more time or room than he thought. He was groping away from the wall. His hand was not out in front, the right hand. He just was not ready for that. No play. Two balls, two strikes, two out. Foul tipped and dropped. I always remember when Felipe Alou was managing the Giants. The Giants had a catcher. He was a Latin player, and I'm sorry to say I can't remember his name. He didn't play a lot. But I remember Felipe said something I'd never heard a manager say. He said, Jose so-and-so, he's the best catcher of foul tips I've ever seen. I don't know if you really catch a foul tip. Yeah, maybe some of you remember that. Whoever he was, he deserves a gold catcher's mitt. 3-2. And ball four. So the Dodgers, to go along with their one hit, they now get a walk. And the batter is Matt Kemp. 2-0 in favor of Cincinnati. Brian Hagan passing along a great note. Remember, I was talking before about Homer Bailey and Ryan Hannigan. When Bailey pitched his two no-hitters, both no-hitters were to Ryan Hannigan, the catcher. But here's the note. When Nolan Ryan had 7 no-hitters, he had 7 different catchers. Wow. One ball and no strikes to Matt Kemp. Phillies came from behind and beat the Rockies today 6-3. Foul back. 2 out, 9th inning. Chase Utley tied it with an RBI single. Ryan Howard won it with a 3-run walk-off home run. Both happening against the left-hander Boone Logan. So the Dodgers have a chance. Of course, the Giants keep winning, but Colorado has stumbled. Dodgers are actually beginning the day a half a game in front of Colorado. 4.5 back of the Giants. That's about as hard as Bailey has thrown that last pitch at 95. That's the way it looks right now. The Giants just keep on rolling. Dodgers a chance to cut it back to 4.5. 1-2 to Matt. Kemp with 5 home runs, 13 runs batted in. He has struck out 45 times. That's tops on the team. Gonzalez not going anywhere. And a drive in the center, very playable. There wasn't much behind that. So Kemp flies out. No runs, no hits, a walk and a man left. And at the end of 4, 2-0 Cincinnati. Quite a battle. Clayton Kershaw and Homer Bailey. All of the scoring in the first inning with one out. Todd Frazier, a clean double to left, and Brandon Phillips followed with a home run. Phillips also took a runaway on a fine play on a ball hit by Ethier that stranded Gordon. The crowd laughing in the background, the very popular Kiss Cam. And the crowd got a big kick out of an older Asian couple. And they really had some fun, and the crowd loved it. Okay, into the fifth. Pete Cozart, a strike. 0-1 to Pete. He struck out in the second inning. Oh, 0-2. For hitters falling behind on a pitcher like Clayton Kershaw, no longer are you looking for anything to hit. You are looking for anything to hit. If that makes sense to you. 0-2. Reached for it, chased it, foul tip, strikes out. So that's 8 strikeouts. And with one out, the batter, Homer Bailey.
Pitcher number 34, Homer Bailey.
Fastball strike. You know, the Dodgers have a 4-game series with Pittsburgh coming up, followed by a 3-game series with the Chicago White Sox. And Chicago feels that they have their own Yasiel Puig. And that would be a fella equally big from Cuba named Jose Abreu. There's a one-hopper backhanded by Gordon. Up and at him. Big play to take a hit away from Bailey. Not only has D become a better player, he's become so much more confident. I guess one thing follows the other. Or maybe confidence makes you the better player, but either way, he has really developed defensively. Two down, Hamilton coming up. And ball one. Justin Turner is well in on the plate. Gordon has come up a bit because if Adrian feels a possible bunt, it's Gordon's job to cover. 1-1 to count. Coaching at third, Steve Smith. See whether he passes along a sign or not. Missed the corner. 2-1. Just to conclude the thought about Jose Abreu and the White Sox, 15 home runs, 42 runs batted in. Hard ground ball. Good pick by Turner. That could easily have gone down the line. Justin has played a very solid third base in the series. So the Reds are done. Nothing. Be sure to join us on the next episode of Backstage Dodgers as our cameras get an inside look at what an off day the team is like in the Big Apple. That's this new episode of Backstage Dodgers tomorrow at 5 p.m. on Sportsnet LA. Clayton Kershaw has gone through 5. He has made 69 pitches. He's had 7 ground balls. He has struck out 8. He has not allowed a fly ball. However, he did allow a fly ball that landed in the seats. And, of course, the home run by Brandon Phillips. Justin Turner made a good play on the ball hit by Hamilton in the 5th inning. Justin hit back to the box, 0 for 1. One ball and no strikes. Foul back. Over the course of this year, Bailey has been troubled by left-hand hitters. He's given up going into this game 31 hits against left-handers, and immediately number 32, the leadoff double by Gordon. However, Ethier is 0 for 2, and Gonzalez 0 for 1 with a walk. They're the only left-hand hitters in there. 2-1 the count. Bailey's been troubled by home runs at home, a half a dozen, and home and road he's given up 9. Meanwhile, Jeff Pico, the pitching coach, watching him very carefully. 3-1 to count to Justin Turner. For one reason or another, and of course Great American Ballpark is a hitter's park, he's really been troubled at home. His earned run average there is 4.7, but on the road it's 6.7. A strike. Turner thought it was ball 4. He was going to take the shin guard off. So Homer Bailey homering in. He's only allowed 1 hit. That was the clean double by Gordon opening up the game. Fouled away. So you had Gordon with a clean double, and then you had an Ethier's ground ball that was run down by Phillips. And that's it. I mean, as well as Kershaw has pitched with 8 strikeouts, combination of Phillips' bat, Phillips' glove, and it's still 2-0 Cincinnati. Fastball, and that's going down the line. Chasing it is Jay Bruce. Turner takes a look, and he's going to keep on going, and he holds up. At the last second, Lorenzo Bundy was saying, come on, come on. And in his heart, I guess, yeah, I just read his lips. You know what he said? I know better. So in Justin Turner's heart, you might wave me to third, but I know better. And he settled for the double. Because whatever speed you have to lose a little of it with that protective shin guard covering. He's going to go around second and said, no. I also think he kind of tripped on the bag rather than stepping cleanly on the bag. So anyway you cut it, it's a leadoff double, his 6th for the year, and the Dodgers' 2nd of the night. 1 into the left field corner, 1 into the right field corner, and that's ball 1. Butera flied to center in the 2nd inning. One thing about Bailey, if you try to paste what he's doing tonight against what he has done in the past, he's not been around long. Ground ball to the right side. The feed by Pena to his pitcher, and going to third is Turner. So Butera gives himself up going the other way, and the batter will be Clayton Kershaw. After the 6th inning, in all of his games, he's faced only 14 batters after the 6th inning. So you figure he'd made 10 starts. 14 batters after the 6th. And he has averaged less than 6 innings a start. But Homer Bailey is pitching a very good ball game right now. And Clayton Kershaw trying to get a run home. pitch gets away. Here comes the run. Well, we spent a lot of time at the start of the game talking about the catcher and his relationship to the pitcher. And they are just absolutely locked in for good or otherwise. The backhanded effort gets by Mesoraco. The run comes in. If it's a wild pitch, and I think they'll call it that, it would be his third. So it's 2-1. Mesoraco, a big man, but he couldn't shift. 1-1 to count. And by the fact that he didn't shift, the official score will rule it a pass ball. When they call the catcher the backstop, it's for a lot of good reasons. But you've never seen a backstop on wheels unless you're somebody like a Johnny Bench. And that backstop was simply a backstop. So the Dodgers say thank you. 2-1. Favor of Cincinnati. And a line drive base hit. Do you think that Homer Bailey was affected by the pass ball? You bet he was. Fastball right out over the plate. Kershaw too good a hitter to let that thing go by. So a line drive single would have picked him up anyway, except it was also the aftermath of a pass ball. So 2 runs, 4 hits for Cincinnati. 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. And here's Gordon with Kershaw at first base. And ball 1. Last time up, D grounded to short. By the way, and it's the old story, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse. We just happened to get on the subject of catching, and it's been very, very important tonight. That's going to go into left field, base hit. Stopping at second is Kershaw, and that'll bring up Andre Ethier. Remember, I mentioned, I didn't do a great job, but I mentioned Felipe Alou, first manager I ever heard talking about a catcher's ability to catch a foul tip. Well, Rob Menchel went onto his trusty treasure box of information, and what he did, he went through the time that Felipe Alou was the manager of the Giants, and then he started picking up, because the only thing I knew was it was a Latin name, the catcher who was so good at catching foul tips. And Rob found him. He was a rookie catcher with the Giants back in 2006. Elysia Alfonso. Now, Lou had seen over 50 years of baseball. Elysia Alfonso, he was the man. Okay, 2 on, 1 out. Andre Ethier. Two runs, 4 hits for the Reds. 1 run, 4 hits for the Dodgers. They've had 4 hits in the inning. And ground ball on his knees, Kozar. The throw to first base in time, and that's the life of the big leaguer. Last night, home run, triple with the bases loaded. Big spot tonight, double play. And at the end at 5, 2-1 Cincinnati. The 8th was Memorial Day, and it was a memorable game for one special Dodger player. And that, of course, would be Russell Martin. On this day, against Pedro Astacio, who had one time pitched for the Dodgers were down and trailing 8-3 in the 5th inning. Well, they rallied only because of Martin's 6 hits, including a home run, and the Dodgers rallied to come from behind and win the game 11-10. Memorable? You bet it was, especially for the starting pitcher for the Dodgers that day, starting pitcher Eric Gagne. Let's go back to this one. Todd Frazier will start it against Phillips and then Mesoraco. It's 2-1. Frazier's doubled and struck out 1 for 2. So 2-1 Reds. Kershaw allowed 2 hits in the first inning. It was Frazier's double, and that was followed by Brandon Phillips' home run. He's allowed 2 more hits, a double by the first baseman, Brayan Pena, and a single by Mesoraco in the 4th inning. And on the way, he has struck out 8. Fastball whacked to left. Going back on it is Kemp. It's over his head. And into second base easily goes Frazier. So a hard line drive over the head of Matt Kemp for the double. And the batter will be Brandon Phillips.
Second baseman, number 4,
Brandon Phillips came up in the first inning following the home run by Todd Frazier. And he got all of it. Of course, he's hit as many as 30 in his career. And as soon as he hit it, he knew it was out. Up there a good half a dozen rows. We were talking about Brandon Phillips earlier and about how this talented player has done so well at Dodger Stadium. In the first 13 games he ever played here, he went .459. He had 3 4-hit games and 3 3-hit games. However, in his next 11 games, not counting tonight, 11 games, he hit .136. 2-1 Reds. Frazier with his second double. Ball 1. One and one. Brandon originally signed by the Expos. He's from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Remember, we mentioned it before, the elderly commissioner of baseball, Kennesaw Mountain Landis. One and two. He had the name Kennesaw Mountain in talking about Stone Mountain. His father in the Civil War had been a surgeon under the fire, and his father lost a leg at Stone Mountain, Georgia in the Civil War. And for one reason or another, he wanted to remember the horror of it, and he named his son Kennesaw Mountain in talking about Stone Mountain where the injury occurred. Ground ball to short. Little surprise. Ramirez may or may not have had a play, we'll never know. But with a runner at second base, nobody out, you don't expect Frazier to move. Admittedly, the ball was behind him, but the Reds got away with something there. See where Ramirez is Now, normally on that kind of a play, you would expect to play at third. In fact, you don't usually go to the next base. But Ramirez let the ball come to him and then bobbled it. So Frazier's now at third. That changes the at-bat for Mesoraco. The infield is up and a strike. So Frazier, a drive over Matt Kemp's head for a double. Phillips, slow ground ball, gets Frazier to third. Mesoraco, 1 for 2. Mesoraco's well put together, 6'1", 230. He'll be 26 the middle of June, so he's just starting out. Went to Punxsutawney High School. One and two. Frazier down the line from third. Big play. It's a one-run game. 2-1 Reds. In the dirt. Nice block by Butera. So Kershaw trying to get an out without giving up a run. Devin Mesoraco made his debut against the St. Louis Cardinals, and one of those rare guys, the first pitch he saw, he lined a double off the left field wall at Busch Stadium. Kershaw trying to keep the ball down, and Gutierrez had to block a couple, so Frazier's still there with one out. Sixth inning, 2-1 Cincinnati. Meanwhile, Homer doesn't nod. Homer rests. Dodgers with not only the infield up, loading up the left side. So Adrian's all alone now between first and second. On deck, Jay Bruce. Big curveball, but it stayed up. That's that big curveball that gets a lot of strikeouts, but not that one. That was a little bit high.
Number 32, Jay
up
Bruce.
there. So Mesoraco gets the walk for Kershaw. That would be the first walk he's given up. So 2 runs, 5 hits. And the batter, Jay Bruce, twice has hit the ball back to Clayton Kershaw. A healthy Bruce is really to be reckoned with. He was the first player in Major League history to hit at least 20 home runs as a rookie and then increase the total each of the next 4 years. He went from 20 to 21, 22, 25, 32, and 34. Half swing, pitch in the dirt. Take a look at that pitch and the check swing, and that bat got way out in front. 0-2 to Jay Bruce. We mentioned that Bruce was only the 6th player in Major League history to hit 20 and then increase each of the next 4 years, and you ought to hear the names of the others. And it gets through Gutierrez's legs. I guess catching was a pretty good subject to lead off with tonight. and it is 3-1 Cincinnati. So again, we'll wait. It'll be a wild pitch. Yep, just got under the glove. So Frazier has scored twice. Each time double, home run picked him up. Wild pitch gets him home. Down to second base, Mesoraco. And the 1-2 pitch to Bruce popped up. Left side, Hanley Ramirez. Two out, but a big wild pitch. And now the batter is Ryan Ludwig. To conclude the thoughts about Bruce and the home runs and the other five who did it, Hall of Famers Hack Wilson, Willie Stargell, and then Jim Thome, Derek Lee, David Ortiz, and Jay Bruce. As Pearl Bailey used to say, and how we'd love to hear her say it, that ain't no bad crowd to hang around with. Ludwig strikes out twice, trying to pick up Mesoraco. So for the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw has a wild pitch. His catcher, Drew Butera, has a pass ball. And for the Reds, Bailey, he has a wild pitch and a pass ball. Comebacker. So for the Dodgers, a wild pitch. Otherwise, the Reds would come up empty. The wild pitch brings home the run. 3-1 Cincinnati.
LA is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Head to Jack in the Box and try the new Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. It's Jack's hottest sandwich yet. And by the Ram 1500, Motor Trend's 2014 Truck of the Year and first ever back-to-back champion.
Beautiful evening in Southern California, specifically Los Angeles. 3-1 in favor of Cincinnati, trying to snap a 4-game losing streak and trying to salvage one game of the 3-game series. Yasiel Puig, followed by Hanley Ramirez and then Adrian Gonzalez. The boys who are supposed to create trouble and havoc have been very quiet. Puig struck out, hit back to the box. Ramirez struck out, grounded to third. Gonzalez grounded out and walked. 0-1. One ball and one strike. Remember that note we gave you about Homer Bailey over a 5-year stretch. Dodgers hit .205 against him. Fastball up and in. 2 balls and 1 strike. Like all the other Dodgers, Kemp waits. Drive to right center, slider, that's heading for the wall and over the wall. So Yasiel starts the fire. Got a slider down and away and just went with it. What tremendous power to run that slider in there with an effortless swing. Puig, 11 home runs, 39 runs batted in. Got it just as it began to break and just did get it over the wall. I think it was last night he hit a curveball and it just seemed to die on its way towards the left field wall. This time the slider did not die. So Yasiel kind of wakes up the dugout a little bit. That makes it 3-2 Cincinnati. Remember, we're in the 6th inning. And for Bailey, that's been a struggle. He's only faced 14 batters after the 6th inning this year. So Yasiel tries to give the glove a push, and he gets a reaction from Justin Turner. Hanley, big leg kick, and that locked him in, and the pitch was not what he was guessed for. So he was so locked he couldn't swing. Where is Uribe? Anytime Puig does something and Uribe is not there, anytime Ryu does anything, Puig will be there, but Uribe has not been there. So they need Juan Uribe. Foul back. Young Arabarena, who was down there in the far corner of the dugout. When you know these two kids are from Cienfuegos, the same little town in Cuba, they have not only escaped, they're playing in the big leagues. What are the odds? One ball and two strikes. Three runs, 5 hits for Cincinnati. 2 runs, 5 hits, and no errors for the Dodgers. Reds got 2 in the first inning. Phillips hit a 2-run home run. Took a run away on smothering the ball from Ethier. Drew Butera had a tough time with a pass ball, but no run. And then a wild pitch got the Reds their 3rd run. And there was Jamie Romack. Were you watching the dugout? Jamie came over to congratulate Puig. There he is. 13 years he's waited to get here. Hanley, bad ball swinging. Strikes out a second time, goes 0 for 3. And the batter is Adrian Gonzalez. For Romack with the bat, he can, instead of just hanging around in the dugout, he can go down and hit in the cages, burn off some energy, because I'm sure he's full of it. Adrian had big numbers against Homer Bailey coming into the game. 10 for 21 with 5 home runs. Oh, and 1. That's as hard as Bailey has thrown. That's the first time he's gotten it up to 96. So he had to put a little extra something on it against Adrian. One and 1. If you look at the Cincinnati Reds bullpen and you take LeCure, Broxton, and Chapman, they're the go-to guys from the 7th to the 9th. The remainder ERA is 6.4. Change missing. So the Cincinnati bullpen, with such a glaring weakness, their earned run average is 4.6, and they are 28th in the league. 2-1. And popped it up. Cozart. 2 down in the 6th inning, and the batter is Matt Kemp.
Left fielder, number 27, Matt Kemp.
Kemp struck out in the 2nd inning, tried to center in the 4th. Homer Bailey has 2 no-hitters, we've mentioned that, but he's not a big winner at all. And his pocketbook became a winner because of the no-hitters. That's hit in the air, but very playable. Billy Hamilton. So Puig gets the Dodgers alive, gets them on the scoreboard, but the Dodgers then stop dead still. The breaking ball hitting the seats. And we go to the 7th inning, 3-2 Cincinnati. 2 Reds. Friends, don't miss Hello Kitty bobblehead night Tuesday. Dodgers and White Sox at 7:10. First 50,000 fans in attendance will take home a mini Hello Kitty bobblehead for their collection. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. We mentioned the arrival of Jamie Romack, the young player who for 12 years, almost 13 years, has played in the minor leagues and has never made it to the majors. And all of a sudden, got a call from his manager. He was in bed, asleep in Sacramento. And the manager called and said, hurry up, get dressed, you're going up. You're going to the big leagues. And at first, after being in the minor years 12 years, never having had a call-up, he couldn't believe it. Couldn't reach his wife, so he called his mother, and she started crying. And then he was asked about all those years in the minor leagues. What did he think about? And that gets away. 2-1 to count. Anyway, here's the line that really jumps out at you. Pretty good lesson in any walk of life. Romack said, I didn't put much emphasis on where I wasn't. I worried about where I was. And there's a base hit for Pena to go 2 for 3. I didn't put much emphasis on where I wasn't. I worried about where I was. Wow. Jamie Romack. Welcome to the big leagues. Meanwhile, Pena now is 2 for 3. Pete Cozart has struck out twice. I should say Zach Cozart. And then Homer Bailey. Flipped that up there, but it was low. 1 ball and no strikes. Cozart with Pena at second, and he advanced on a pass ball, but Cozart still struck out, and then he struck out leading off the 5th. In the dirt. You would wager not only the pressure on Butera, because among other things, he doesn't catch Kershaw. I mean, A.J. Ellis is the man. And he's gotten some tough pitches. 2-0 the count. Now that's really different, to go from a pitch in the dirt and the next pitch over the hitter's head. Meanwhile, Tim Fedorovich, alone with his thoughts, he's handled a lot of pitchers who have given him a bad time, I'm sure. So 3-0 to Cozart. Right. Homer Bailey struck out and grounded out hard. He's on deck. Brandon League now gets up in the Dodger bullpen. Kershaw's made 95 pitches. Fastball pulled foul. Cozart went to school at the University of Mississippi, and I guess they have a deal down there. He bleached his hair blonde 3 years on the ball club. He would bleach it once a month. A ground ball, they get one. He's safe at first. So we'll take a look. Justin got it down to D. Pena was on top of him, and the throw a hair late. And hold it now. They're going to challenge it. This is the delay that somehow they're going to have to get over. I mean, the manager might as well stay in the dugout. The bench coach is on the phone and either says yes or no, and then the manager can just come up the steps and wave. Instead, they check on the phone. Here's the play. You see the glove and the ball, and you're trying to see when the ball is in the glove and the foot is on the bag. And if you're the umpire, what are you looking at? I mean, you don't think this is a tough call? Of course, Jerry Davis is the first base umpire, and Jerry's been in the business a long time. In fact, this would be his 31st year in the big leagues. So everything stops and waits. They check with New York, and we'll see. Bryan Price, I'm sure, has challenged his share. One thing you know is going to happen, and that's really tough stuff for the umpires. They're going to keep score. They're going to say, how many times has this umpire had the call reversed because he missed the call? And yet, when you think about it, the only reason they're challenging is it is such a bang-bang call. Well, I hope they don't keep score, but human nature being what it is, I'm sure they do. It's already 2.5 minutes. So the very fact it's taken this long, it could not be an obvious call. It's a brutal job. And they do an amazing job game after game, month after month, year after year. So let's see. Jerry got the call. You called safe, and safe he is. So Bryan Price has the runner at first with one out. Homer Bailey coming up. Billy Hatcher, first base coach for Cincinnati. Three runs, 6 hits for Cincinnati. 2 runs, 5 hits, and no error for the Dodgers. Bailey in a position to bunt. Let's see if they play bunt. Let's see if they play bunt and run. The bunt foul, 0-1. Runner was not going. Butera limping on that foul ball. It hits the knee pad, but the knee pad is soft. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to bend your knee. That just ate him alive. Butera's dad caught in the big leagues for many years. So he is a chip off the old block. 0-1. Cozart has stolen only 1 base. One reason, of course, he hits 8th in the lineup, and you don't do much running with the pitcher. 0-2. Well, Steve has sent the message. Cozart is aware of what's going on at first. 1 out in the 7th. 3-2 Reds. Full swing, and down he goes. So Bailey goes 0 for 3, striking out in a bunt situation. 2 down in the batter, Billy Hamilton.
Center fielder number 6, Billy Hamilton.
Hamilton, a switch hitter, grounded to third, struck out, grounded to third again. Line drive, fair ball. Chasing it is Kemp. Cozart is to third. They will stop him. And it's a blistering double by Hamilton. That thing looked right on the line. So now Frazier's coming up again as Hamilton doubles, and Frazier 2 for 3 with doubles. And the ball hit well right at the knees. Tough break for Kershaw because it just about lands on the line itself. Well, 6 inches inside. So Kemp over to get it. 4 doubles hit by the Reds. Frazier has 2. Hamilton has 1. Pena had 1. Frazier 2 for 3. 2 out, runners at second and third, and ball 1. Well, Kershaw is certainly on the horns of the so-called dilemma. The dilemma basically being, do I pitch to one very good hitter or another very good hitter? That's in there. Nice, easy 93. Pitch count now up to 103. And that, of course, is so important for the modern day pitcher. Kershaw's last game, he made 100 pitches. He is staying at 93, and he's staying pretty much with fastballs. His first game against Arizona, that was in Sydney, Australia. he made 102 pitches. He never got to 90 until the last game against Philadelphia when he made 100. So now 104. And big chopper on the line. Long throw. Plenty of time. Frazier does not run that well. So Kershaw out of a jam, leads second and third. And we go to the bottom of the seventh, and it's still 3-2 Cincinnati. On Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Head to Jack in the Box and try the new Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. It's Jack's hottest sandwich yet. And by your Southern California Mazda dealers. Clayton Kershaw, through his 7 innings, has 11 ground balls, only 1 fly ball, and he has 9 strikeouts. And yet, that's not good enough because he's still trailing 3-2 to Homer Bailey, who's made 88 pitches and has just worked his way nicely along to lead by 1. 0-1. Justin Turner hit back to the box, doubled and came around to score in the 5th inning. Then Yasiel Puig homered in the 6th. Turner came home on a pass ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bailey, as we mentioned, has been averaging less than 6 innings a start. Made a nice play there. 1 away. Watch this play. Ball goes right back between his legs as he turns. Nice play. It would not have gone through the legs, and he probably would have made the play had he turned. So, very nice play. Look what I found. Oh, this is the moment. I don't know if the people here in the ballpark know anything at all about Jamie Romack. I don't think anyone in the park knows this guy has been in the minor leagues over 12 years, almost 13. Has never even had a cup of coffee in the big leagues. And tonight at Dodger Stadium, well, you can fill in the rest. Jamie Romack, out of London, Ontario in Canada. He'll be 29 in September, batting for Clayton Kershaw. How's that to tell your mom? 1-2. Half swing ground ball. 2 down. Now here it is. What a great moment. And again, I'm going to repeat that wonderful philosophy he had about spending all those years in the minor league. He said, I didn't put much emphasis on where I wasn't. I worried about where I was. So Jamie goes to the big league tour, getting his name announced, ovation. Well, most people who do not know his background. He's certainly well put together. He's 6'2" and 220. All those years, all those nights, hoping and praying and waiting to get the phone call. Well, let's see what happens. right to a Gold Glove. If he hit the ball hard, you can't ask more than that. So Romack a one hopper to second, and at the end of 7, 3-2 Cincinnati. 3-2. What's ahead for the Dodgers? Well, tomorrow here come the Pirates. That'll be the beginning of a 4-game series right through the weekend, and then the first 3 days of the week, the Chicago White Sox. Following that, the Dodgers will head out and hit the road again. They'll go to Colorado and Cincinnati. By the way, when the day began, the Dodgers were a half a game in front of Colorado. Colorado lost, so the Dodgers have a chance to pick up a game on the team that's on its back. Meanwhile, the Giants just keep rolling along. So the Giants won their game, which means the Dodgers, for the moment, are 5 back. If they win, it goes back to 4.5. If they lose, it'll go to 5.5. Brandon League will now pick up for Clayton Kershaw. And there's the fella that I'm sure he missed a great deal, A.J. Ellis. No knock on Butera, but these two would always be the battery for any game Clayton will ever pitch. But not tonight. Stepping on the mask. Shades of Hank Gowdy. Meanwhile, the Reds are facing Brandon League. And it's not as if Cincinnati has done great timely hitting. They're 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. And that one hit, that was the 2-run home run by Phillips, following Frazier's double in the first inning. And League is going to be backed up by J.P. Howell. They have killed a lot of worms at Dodger Stadium tonight. Clayton Kershaw, in his 7 innings, had 11 ground balls. Homer Bailey, in his 7 innings, has had 12 ground balls. 2-0. And ball 3. Paid attendance tonight, 41,129. 41,129. And that's a strike. Brandon homered, grounded to second, grounded to short. Took a base hit away from Ethier. That prevented Gordon from scoring. And when you look at it that way, that's a difference in the game. 3-2. Waiting on deck, Devin Mesoraco, the catcher. Fastball comebacker off the glove, recovered, and the out. One out in the 8th inning, and the batter now, Devin Mesoraco, the big catcher, struck out, singled, and walked. 1 for 2. We've talked about various things about catching, etc. One thing to keep in mind, the Reds had a catcher who was an exceptionally good hitter. His name was Ernie Lombardi, and he caught way back around 1940. It seemed like forever. But he was a very good catcher. He was the only catcher to win the batting title twice. Catchers just normally, when they've been around a while, they don't run very well. It's tough enough to lead the league in hitting. Then you might have an injury like A.J. Ernie Lombardi, catcher, won the batting title twice. He would not know what an infield hit was, a leg hit. 1 ball, 1 strike. In the dirt. 2-1. Todd Frazier working on some nails. Ground foul. Reds will not be here anymore. Dodgers go there. Some great names in Cincinnati history. The newest one, Skip Schumacher. Very popular wherever he plays. He was a great teammate here. Yep. Down he goes. 2 out. Maybe it's not the greatest name in Cincinnati history, but if you look at the first base coach, Billy Hatcher.
Right fielder, number 32, Jay Bruce.
Billy in the 1990 World Series started the series going 7 for 7. He wound up the series 9 for 12. That's the best you can do. He had the best World Series batting average at .750. You know, the shifting that we have now with the overshift, etc. They used to play the batter, Ernie Lombardi, so deep. He said it took him 4 years to realize that Pee Wee Reese was an infielder. Well, J.P. Howell's coming in. We'll be back. And he'll be facing Jay Bruce, the right fielder, who was 0 for 3, 2 ground balls and a pop fly against Kershaw. Brandon Lee, a brief appearance, made 11 pitches. Oh, 0-1. JP cannot overpower people. He has to truly pitch, which he does and does very well. Hard breaking ball. 1-1. A healthy Jay Bruce means a great deal to the Reds. Been on the DL. Ryan Ludwig hitting after him. Howell has to pitch very carefully, and yet he's brought in to get the left-hander. Two and two. Bruce, like just about all of the Reds, good size, 6'3", 225. First 5 years, Jay Bruce hit 134 home runs. Only 2 other players hit more home runs in their first 5 years. Adam Dunn hit 158. And Frank Robinson, 165. So Ludwig trying to stay loose, and Bruce trying to give it a battle. And got it. Off-speed pitch. That is to say, certainly not the fastball you're looking for. Down go the Reds. Homer Bailey will call it a night. Made 112 pitches. Goes out leading 3-2. Still leading by 1, 3-2. It was 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2. And Manny Parra will come in to pick up for Homer Bailey, who turned in a great 7 innings. Bailey tonight made 96 pitches.
Now pitching number 43.
Dee Gordon becomes a very important play tonight. Gordon on a roller that had base hit all over it. Comes up with that veteran turntable play with a skid on their hips, turns completely around, get up, and come out with the out. Now he'll be asked to do more than just get up and turn around. Dee hitting .289, led off the game with a double, and the Dodgers wasted that, left him at third. Corners are up. Ball 1. Then last time up, Gordon got a base hit. So he's 2 for 3. In the Dodger bullpen, Brian Wilson begins to warm up. Big sweeping breaking balls, 2-0. Manny Parra, 6'3", 205-pounder from Sacramento, and lives in Citrus Heights. Went to American River Junior College and was originally drafted by the Brewers. Came to the Reds last year from Milwaukee. Fastball missed. So after 2 breaking balls and a fastball, he's in a hole. 3-0. Parra committed to go to UCLA, but he signed with the Brewers instead. And ball 4. So a rabbit is loose, and he represents the tying run.
Center fielder number 16, Andre Ethier.
Andre Ethier didn't hit the ball that hard, but it was in the hole, and it was just slow enough for Brandon Phillips to make a diving stop and throw him out. And then Puig and Ramirez struck out. So the Dodgers wasted Gordon's leadoff double, and now they're paying for it right now. Well, so far, Dee Gordon's been able to read Parra's move. So Manny, if nothing else, trying to take a little something out of the legs. Mesoraco, meanwhile, if Gordon does give up a step, Devin has a shot at him. Gordon has stolen 30 out of 33. There he goes. And the bunt is down. Third base was left open, but racing down was Frazier to cover. So Gordon got down to second base, might have hurt his leg a little bit. I think Ethier is a little confused he had a look to Lopez just to say, why was I bunting if he was going? It's hard to read body language, of course, and especially this far. But why would he be bunting with Gordon going? So Ethier still doesn't understand. Gordon, I think, scraped the knee. Yeah, you go head first, and you are liable to destroy yourself one way or another. It is the worst thing to really come into the game. I mean, it's one thing to see one guy out of 100 do it, but they all do it now. It's just not a big league play. Jonathan Broxton is in the pen. He's coming to the mound, and we'll be back. .6'4", maybe 300 pounds, from Augusta, Georgia. And, of course, he was a great Dodger. He first came up in 2005 and eventually left in the 2012 season. So, again, one of the big questions, especially if the Dodgers lose the game, one of the big questions will have to be answered about the 8th inning. We have the best base runner in the major leagues at first on a walk, and Ethier bunts while he's running. And Ethier's reaction had to be, wait a minute, why am I bunting when they know Gordon's going to go? So something happened, and instead of, well, it was just a wasted out. So Gordon at second, Puig and Ramirez trying to pick him up. Puig 1 for 3, a home run. Tying run at second, 1 out, 3-2 Reds, bottom of the 8th. Yasiel in the 6th inning came up against Bailey, hit what looked to be a high slider over the right field wall. His 11th home run of the year. For Bailey, that was the 10th home run that he's given up this year in hitter-friendly Great American Park. Gordon came out for a drink of water, but apparently nothing serious about what he did to his leg. Brandon Phillips holding him on out there. And a high fly ball to right, sending Bruce to the track. Gordon will tag up, and he's on his way to third. So again, let's go back to Andre Ethier. Why was Ethier bunting with Gordon, the #1 base stealer, ready to go? Let's just say Gordon steals second. Ethier, maybe it's a ground ball to get into third. Well, there's your run. Anyway, that's the fun part of this game. So a long out to right field. And the batter, Hanley Ramirez. Hanley has struck out twice, grounded to third. As of right now, he is far removed from the hitter he was last year. Ramirez is 2 for 4 in the past against Jonathan Broxton. Bottom of the 8th, 2 out, tying run at third. Ball one. $41,129. Saying a very tough game. 2-0, then 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, and we're locked in right there in the bottom of the 8th. High fly ball. Jay Bruce has the play, and he has the ball, and the big decision in the 8th inning at the end of 8, 3-2 Cincinnati. MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replays, scores, stats, audio, free MLB TV game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit Dodgers.com today. It's still 3-2 Cincinnati. Brian Wilson is asked to get 3 outs in the 9th. He'll be pitching against Ryan Ludwig, Brayan Pena, and then Zach Kozar. By the way, and this has to be another haunting thought for the Dodgers, they left Gordon at third base in the 8th inning. So the Dodgers are 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position in the game. And a strike to Ryan Ludwig. Brian Wilson in his 22nd game and a runaway earned run average. Right now it's 7.5. 0-2. 90 miles an hour, and at the last second it just seemed to run away, which was a very good indication it was a cutter at 90. Brian worked an inning in the first game of the series, technically a third of an inning. 1-2. You know, Wilson has had 2 Tommy John surgeries. When you see him throwing 92, 93, you don't fear there's anything mechanically wrong. His control is what his challenge has been. 15 walks, 21 strikeouts, not really much room to work. Fastball. Puig is there. So Ludwig, fly ball to right center, 1 away. And the batter will be Pena. Brayan Pena double to right, grounded to short, single to left. And following him, Zach Kozar. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 9th, Adrian Gonzalez, Matt Kemp, Justin Turner. 0-1. Pena's been playing with a smile on his face all game. Boy, he tried to time it, and then with all that weight behind, drive it out of sight. The names are spelled differently. They come out Brian. Brayan, and the usual spelling. Aroldis Chapman. He of the 100-mile-an-hour pitch, one after another, getting ready for the ninth. And that's going to be stroked into center. No wonder he's been playing with a smile on his face. That's his third hit.
Shortstop number 2.
So Pena at first, one out. Zach Cozart coming up. Skip Schumacher comes out on deck, and he would bat for Broxton. Pena reached first base, turned, and immediately had a big swing. There must be somebody in the dugout cheering him on. And a little cutter for a strike, 0-1. Cozart struck out twice, hit into a force place. Oh, 0-2. So Gordon, who was the tying run in the 5th inning, and again in the 8th. Ethier, who bunted in the bottom of the 8th. That's the big combination. That's where the answer is in this game right now. When it's all said and done, remember, the Dodgers are 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. So they have certainly had their chances. So for the third time, Zach Cozart strikes out. And now Skip Schumacher coming up. Boy, you talk about a
Attention, please, for the Reds.
good teammate
number 25, Skip
and
Schumacher.
a talented player. The pride of Torrance, California, and Ladera Ranch. Went to school at UC Santa Barbara. His first name, you never hear it. You never see it in print, really. Everybody calls him Skip. That first name is Jared. J-A-R-E-D, although he said, no one's called me Jared since I was 5 years old. Talking about when he was 5, Skip Schumacher went to a restaurant when he was living here and being 5 years old. And he went to a restaurant, and there was Tommy Lasorda and Oral Hershiser at the dinner. He had a baseball glove, and both men signed it with the line, "To a future Dodger." And darned if it didn't come about last year. Originally drafted by the Cardinals in 2001. Little chopper to third, waiting for the hop is Turner. And then, did he wait too long? No. Good bit of shifting by Adrian Gonzalez to prevent the inning from stopping right then and there. So we're heading for the bottom of the ninth. Gonzalez and Kemp and Turner and Aroldis Chapman. Stubbornly holding on to a 3-2 lead, and Aroldis Chapman coming in to face Adrian Gonzalez. Wilson made 16 pitches, and now the Dodgers facing a fireballer who you may remember. You certainly hope he would forget it. Araldo, a line drive that hit him just above the left eye. when he went down on the mound, there were a lot of people who worried if he would ever get up. I mean, it was brutal. Aroldis Chapman went down, stayed down, taken off the field, and here he is. They said that he never lost consciousness. He was able to communicate, move his hands, feet, legs. A lot of blood coming from above the eye, but he has battled back. They put a metal plate placed on the bone above the eye to stabilize the injury. He also suffered a nose fracture. So you can imagine that's the physical problems. What happened to him after Salvador Perez, the catcher for the Royals, hit the line drive. You can imagine all of the mental battles he had. And here he is. Chapman, 26 years old, facing Adrian Gonzalez. Slow roller on a first pitch fastball at 101.
One fielder, number 27, Matt Kemp.
So nothing wrong with a man who can come in and his first pitch is 101 miles an hour. And now Matt Kemp. It's one of the great accomplishments for anyone who can get to the big leagues. How you can somehow snuff out the slightest bit of fear. And you got to believe you're a human being. You come up to the plate and somebody's throwing an object over 100 miles an hour. Fear has to play a part. Right. Three runs, 8 hits for the Reds. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. 2 4-game streaks on the line. Dodgers trying to win their 4th. Reds trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. 1 ball and 1 strike. Aroldis is 6'4", weighs 200 pounds. 26 years old. From Cuba. 1-2. You know, the natural rivalry, it would have been a great moment for Tweed to be coming up against Chapman. But that certainly is just about out of the question. .102 miles an hour. That's where you turn to the umpire and say that sounded high. Two and two. Ball 3. When Dusty Baker managed the Reds, Dusty said Chapman would get into a mood. You didn't know where he was. And I remember Alvin Dark of the Giants when he was the manager. And there was a pitcher named Jack Sanford in relief. Sanford would get into such a zone, Dark swore he would go out to the mound and say, Jack, it's Alvin. Yeah, that's what he said. 3 and 2. Still 3 and 2. Can you imagine you're throwing 101, 102, and you drop to 89? Now, 89 is not a bad fastball for almost anybody in the business. Or if you throw a little harder and you throw 89, they'll say, well, he took a little off it. But I mean, 89 for him is a balloon changeup. Nope. Now he wants to talk to Mesoraca. I don't know how much time they have spent together, but it certainly looks like Aroldis Chapman is controlling things, and he's the one who's saying exactly what he wants. Three and two to Matt Kemp. And only 90 miles an hour and in the dirt.
Third baseman number 10, Justin Turner.
So Justin Turner coming up. So Matt Kemp had a tough day, 0 for 4, like just about everybody else. Dodgers have a grand total of 5 hits. Oh, and 1. There's a straight change at 88. Oh, and 2. Basically, if you want to check the book on Chapman, there's a fastball and a cutter, curveball, slider, splitter, and a changeup. And that will be that. A 101 mile an hour fastball to take care of Turner. 3 runs and 8 hits for the Reds. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. Chapman came in through 11 pitches, and that's the ball game. So the Dodgers' little 3-game winning streak snapped, and part of the reason it snapped was a solid pitching performance by Homer Bailey. He of 2 no-hit fame. It wasn't a no-hitter for him, but he was very tough, especially with runners in scoring position. The Dodgers were 0 for 7 at-bats against Bailey with runners in scoring position, and that really is the story. So it's also the Cincinnati story. The kids said hello, but now they're saying goodbye. And tomorrow night, it will be the Pittsburgh Pirates. We'll talk to you then. We wish you all a very pleasant good evening, everybody.